Hello everyone, Sableye here and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be diving into the Series 3 or Regulation C team builder, and we're going to be doing it in a little bit of a unique way by taking our second place Vancouver Regionals team and trying to adapt it to Regulation C. Now there's a lot of merit in doing stuff like this, especially with past teams that work, because for one simple reason. The past teams worked, and they worked for a reason, right? The only difference between Regulation B and Regulation C is they're adding the Ruin Pokemon. They have 4 that are appearing on the screen in Ting Lu, Wo-Chien, Shen Pao, and Qi Yu. Now, I figured, you know what? If we're going to adapt our team to this, I think it makes sense to... I really like the concept of Ting Lu. I'm a very defensive player. And my whole concept with when I team build is I like to have teams that simply can function in a variety of areas without necessarily needing to say, this is my one line, this is the line I have to play. Sometimes it comes to that case, but I like having options, and I like the ability to kind of look at a team and be adaptive with my play rather than just say, this is what I have to do, there's no room to adapt. And I think Ting Lu really fits the whole Flutter Mane, Iron Bundle, Arcanine core really well. The only concern I have, which we'll get into in a second, but let's throw Ting Lu here for now. My main concern is that by having Ting Lu on the field, and given the fact that it's a Ting Lu, like look at the stats, right? It's going to be on the field for a while, right? Which is maybe something that we should be considering a little better. In fact, maybe, you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm actually going to go Wo-Chien, I think. Because... I'm going to go Wo-Chien. My initial thought with Ting Lu, you know, it gets the AV, it sits there, it doesn't really take too much damage. But my concern is hindering off the Flutter Mane and the Iron Bundle. Now, Ting Lu with AV and dropping Great Tusk was my initial thought, right? That was, I came into the video, I'm going to drop King Gambit, I'm going to drop Great Tusk. I'm going to just go with that, play some games, and we're going to be solid. But I actually think, looking back at this, hindering my Flutter Mane and my Iron Bundle, which are two of my biggest damage dealers, is probably a bad idea for the team. Now, it might work out overall. I just don't know if I really want to commit to it, right? Like, I don't hate keeping Great Tusk here. I think Corviknight may need to adjust as well. But just for the sake of the video, we'll rock Wo-Chien here. I have leftovers available. We'll go Terra Poison. It just seems to be the standard in the little bit of this format that I have played. And with Wo-Chien, you want to go slow and you want to go bulky. So I think something like Ruination, Leech Seed. Actually, wait, you want Pollen Puff too. So Pollen Puff to heal things up. Ruination, Leech Seed, Pollen Puff. And then you probably just want Protect just to sit around on the field. And that's the one thing Wo-Chien does really well, is it can sit on the field and kind of not die. I'm probably just going to go really quickly here. I'll go Sassy. Hit the bump, which I believe is 36. Yes, it is. Probably just max out HP. We don't need special attack, but I'll put 4. Sassy's the wrong nature. I should be going minus attack. Is that calm? It is calm. I'll put 4 here just for the sake of putting 4 here. And then probably just dump the rest into defense and just bulk this thing out. You probably could go a little bit more neutral. Like something like this. Where's the next bump at? Is it 156? I just don't want to commit that much to special because I have a lot of special bulk already, right? So I think maybe going something like this is fairly decent. Like, yes, I'm hindering off the attacks, but I want to be able to actually hinder off the attacks. I don't want to just rely on my ability to say that I'm going to be taking physical hits. So having the defense boost is actually pretty nice here, or the stronger option on the defense here is nice. Don't want to completely ignore it. This is probably a bad spread, but we'll work on that later. You don't want to spend too much time on spreads right away anyways, especially because I don't want to spend 62 years on a Wo-Chien spread just to realize, hey, Wo-Chien didn't work out. Then I've wasted 3 hours on a Wo-Chien spread and I've spent 1 hour battling, right? That's not advised, right? Build spreads pretty basic at first. Hit a few key things you want to hit. Then from there, you kind of have to realize, okay, is this working? Is it not? Can I adapt this one way or another? But I do think I stick with my overall core here. I'm inclined to almost just say Wo-Chien is overall better here. Now, I do want to maybe maneuver Corviknight, because the concept with Corviknight was that I was able to sit there and kind of maneuver things, but I'm a little scared of Qi Yu now. In fact, I wonder if I drop Corviknight, switch to something like Choice Scarf here to deal. Can I go Adamant Scarf? I cannot, because I don't outpace things. I have to go Jolly. Or Timid and, yeah, it's Jolly. I'll keep Jolly. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too many hours on the spread. There's probably a better spread for there. But basically the concept here is, yeah, okay, Wo-Chien does hinder off Great Tusk. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. What we do need to have, however, is probably some sort of ground. We have a ground switch in. This is up in the air. Maybe more speed control is an option. I didn't hate the flying type. I might go back to Dragonite. I just feel like Dragonite might be a little bit more optimal here. Although switching into Iron Bundle would actually suck if we go Dragonite. So maybe we do keep the Steel type. Maybe the Steel typing was never wrong. And I don't think it was wrong. Actually, do we just keep King Gambit? We could just, in theory, keep King Gambit here. Excuse my dog in the background. Let me close my door real quick. But, right? Could we just keep King Gambit? Keep the Assault Vest, right? And, like, in theory, this still works. Because we can go Iron Head. That's Iron Defense, Ryan. That's not Iron Head. We go Iron Head. We can keep Assurance. Might need to switch to Kowtow, but we're not going to keep that. Not going to keep that too much in mind. We're going to keep Low Kick. And we are going to keep Sucker Punch as well. What we do need to do is consider our Terra. I am going to go Terra Flying. Ignoring Ground just seems correct. This seems the best way possible. I'm going to keep my other spread, which I believe was 220, 220, 460, I think. I think that was my regional spread. If it ever loads up, there we go. And we were adamant. And I wonder if this works. We're going to play some games and just kind of see what happens from here. The concept here, right, was that I really just wanted to kind of have something to have a starting point, right? And that's the key thing. And you can do this with realistically any team that's seen success. And if you think it's going to adapt well, right? And it's important to keep in mind as we were talking as to why the cores work. And I talked a lot about how my team just felt like I had options into almost everything. And I think I still have that being the case here. I probably may not have even need to switch to Scarf. I was just a little worried about getting outpaced by things. So having Scarf actually kind of lets me just sit in front of like Fluttermane in the end game. It actually probably wins me this end game outside of Palafin. So what I want to do is I definitely want to have Arcanine here. Fluttermane is also amazing, but I think it's Bundle Arc, Fluttermane, and I don't actually hate Wo-Chien here. I can Terra Poison and really just never really die if I need to. So I'm actually just going to go Wo-Chien. I think these first four are solid core in on its own. And scenario like this, I feel pretty strong with Raichu, or just into Raichu. Like, I don't know the item, obviously, because I haven't opened up sheets, unfortunately, but what we can kind of do is kind of just sit here, and I think I can safely click, like, Will-O-Wisp into Ting-Lu. They have to be a little scared of Iron Bundle here. There's a fake out. Beautiful. We'll get the Wisp. If they opt for, like, the Fissure strats, which, right on cue, the Fissure strats, we absolutely hate it here. I can't stand that it's, like, almost optimal in the format. Because what you do is if you miss a Fissure, you have base 150 power Stomping Tantrum the next turn. So, like, it really just works so well on Ting-Lu. But we're going to forget about that right now. We're still in an actually pretty good spot. Icy Wind Flare Blitz, I would be surprised if it didn't finish off the Raichu here. And honestly, if they're committing to trying to hit Fissures to win games, they can have to commit to it. I'm okay with that. You know we're going to get hit by the Fissure now. Raichu actually survives, which is a little bit surprising. I wasn't really expecting the Raichu to live that. And they're going to opt for the Stomping Tantrum. Only base 75 because it went into a Protect. It wasn't like a miss. But they're burned in -1, so not a problem at all. I'm going to just Protect here. And once again, they're burned in -1. Their best option now is sadly to just start clicking Fissure. I am going to just Flare Blitz and kill off the Raichu though. I really see no reason not to try and take that target. Don't want to let the Raichu off the field. Might as well take the piece while I can get it. You're going to see a Fissure, probably into Arcanine. Nope, they went back into the bundle, and I think they might as well have tried to get the Arcanine off the field. However, I guess if they have like the Palafin in the back, they don't need to kill Arcanine. And they're more scared of bundle. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to go Freeze Dry and just Flare Blitz, and I'm going to try and commit to killing Ting-Lu right here. I will miss the KO, I believe. But I can't afford to swap anything else in right now. So this is going to be really close, but I think Wo-Chien keeps it. Never mind, the Paralysis is going to guarantee them to survive. But more importantly, they're not launching the Fissures, and they're just accepting the fact that they're about to die. Ting-Lu is probably AV. I'm going to double it once again. I don't need bundle anymore at this point, I don't believe. And if they want to save Ting Lu on 7% HP, they can go ahead and do so. I'm not really too concerned about it. But immediately, like, you can see that we don't necessarily need to have the ruins on our team. And I think that's where people are kind of like faltering, right? Like, yeah, we have a Wo-Chien, but bundle Arcanine, which has been a core since the beginning of Series 2, is just already putting in work despite everything, right? Like, we don't necessarily need the ruins. I definitely think they help, and there's a good just sack to Ting Lu, realizing it's useless. Just get some chip damage on the Iron Bundle. I might actually try to preserve it now that they've given me an option to potentially do so. Like, we'll see what their last mon is here. I'd imagine the way they're playing it, it's Flutter Mane, but we'll see. Because I can't see them having saved Palafin for the end game, yeah. So it's actually going to be Flutter Mane here. I think Terra Poison Wo-Chien can probably clean this up really, really nicely. I will sack Iron Bundle by just simply going Icy Wind. And I think I'm just going to drop a Flare Blitz into Flutter. If Flutter Mane protects, it's a really, really good turn. But there's only so much I can do there. And if they have Protect, they're not Specs, meaning they can't kill my Flutter Mane in one shot. So my Flutter Mane can kind of come in on the field right now and still just be perfectly fine. Would have been nice to actually have King Gambit here, but I'm going to go Flutter Mane first. I probably need to change Terra Grass, by the way. I don't think Terra Grass is optimal in this format, but that's something we'll talk about in a minute. I can simply Shadow Ball. They can't Terra, and I'm just going to simply straight up double the Flutter Mane. Because right now, Wo-Chien doesn't scare me. Like, yeah, it's going to break off my Flutter Mane here. But as long as I have my Wo-Chien in the back that can click Leech Seed into them, this game is already over. So Wo-Chien, you're going to see probably click Leech Seed. They're going to actually ignore the Flutter Mane, which I think is a huge mistake. Because what this allows me to do is simply just get damage up and pivot into Wo-Chien. And at this point, there's nothing they can really do to get through this. Solid Shadow Ball for decent damage, nothing too crazy. They're going to knock off, actually. That's a really cool tech. I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen too many knockoff Wo-Chiens running around. But I'm going to just Will-O-Wisp to start getting some chip damage. And I'm going to Leech Seed to also continue getting chip damage. I don't want to click. I probably should have Snarled. But like I said, I don't want to Terra Poison away from things because then they can Leech Seed. Right now, they're in a spot where they can't heal up because of the Leech Seed. So I get the Snarl. And I'm just going to Ruination just for some more chip damage. It probably doesn't do a crazy amount, but it's going to be doing enough to a spot where after the Ruination and the Snarl, Leech Seeds are going to start hurting. And if they want a Pollen Puff, it's not going to kill me. They basically have to Leech Seed the Arcanine here, and they can go ahead and do that. Now it's in my best interest to get Arcanine off the field as soon as possible. So I'm not going to bother Pollen Puffing. I'm just going to let it go down, and I'm just going to Ruination again. At this point, Ruination Flare Blitz should be more than enough to kill the Wo-Chien, and as we see, it is. Alright, we'll get into game 2. That is... I have no clue what's going on. We are a little low on ladder, unfortunately, guys. I didn't have time to get this ult up before we started playing, but... how do I want to do this? This is a little scary because, like, I don't know what the game plan is. Like, normally I would say they're gonna, like, try and crit their... No, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to try and crit their Crocodile here. So I'm actually going to go Bundle and Scarf Tusk. And I think that pretty much puts us in a really solid position. If they try to go for like the whole Trick Room stuff, I'll bring in Wo-Chien and Adapt. And I also have King Gambit, but I think King Gambit loses value on the fact that they have a Crocodile and a Flamigo. So I'm actually going to just kind of go Flutter Mane. I don't think it's going to work per se, but I think it's going to give us enough tools to actually make it through. Now, they could be Scarfed onto Crocodile, which is a little concerning because they would outpace my Scarf Great Tusk. But I can just Icy Wind. And I think my play is going to be Icy Wind. And I'm going to Icy Wind and actually try to kill the Meowscarada, I think. Because I think it's more likely Crocodile's like, oh, I'm not in a good spot here because of Freeze Dry. They also could Terra Fire. But once again, if the Crocodile's not getting the Anger Point boost to give to the Flamigo, I'm in a perfectly fine position. I'm a little scared of like Scarf Meowscarada. I'm gonna be completely honest with everybody here. That's a little bit of a concern for me. I don't think it's great, but we'll see. Yeah, we're gonna get the Icy Wind up. We're just gonna crit the Meowscarada on its own. It's gonna go down, and that's gonna be GG. Okay, I will probably do 4. 4 games seems to be a decent starting point here. I don't want to spend all day talking games. I want to just kind of talk about adjustments and such, but I definitely wanted to play some games to see like how things work and how things function before I just start making observations without actually playing a game. Houndstone is weird. I don't know how I feel about this, to be perfectly honest with you. Great Tusk still goes crazy right now. King Gambit maybe wants to come for Grimmsnarl, but honestly I could kind of just lead Fluttermane Wo-Chien. And that pretty much, the synergy right there is really, really nice. Like Wo-Chien Flutter is really nice there. Just keeps Fluttermane on the field a little longer. I'm a little concerned. I think I just go Great Tusk Bundle though. It's a little concerning into Palafin, but having Wo-Chien feels right, I think. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm going to go T-Tar Palafin. This I'm okay with, I think. Because you'd expect Palafin to want to pivot off the field. So I'm going to get a Leech Seed into that slot. And honestly, I think I just drop a Moonblast into T-Tar here just for the damage. Like, that's going to be 63% damage is not crazy. They're going to actually opt to close combat with the Palafin. Is it a Jetpack? It is. Okay. So I like that tech. I think it's cute. Right? You eject pack, but now we get Leech Seed onto Garganical. They can go ahead and click Rock Slide. As you see, the Wo-Chien's actually making that not even a 2-shot on our Fluttermane. And Wo-Chien also is going to just start getting some health back. I can Ruinate if I want to. I could see T-Tar switching out. What I'm going to do is I am going to try and save Fluttermane. I'm just going to Leech Seed into the T-Tar slot, and I think I pivot in Tusk. Tusk is a super safe bring right now. If they try to switch back into Palafin, I can switch into Bundle later. And if they just stay on the field, we don't have to worry about taking massive Rock Slide chip. They've got a Salt Cure up. But between leftovers and recovery from both of their Pokemon, we're just going to be boosting things up. And we're pretty healthy still. We actually gained out of that turn, I believe. It's a little interesting of an endgame here because I actually can't protect Tusk. However, I don't think a Jet Punch is going to kill me as long as I have my Wo-Chien on the field. And I think because of that, I'm going to opt to just Ruination the Garg. And I'm actually going to drop an immediate Headlong Rush into Palafin just to see if I can get some damage. They are going to go for the Terra Water. They are going to go into Great Tusk. It is not going to be enough. There's a Headlong Rush, obviously doing less damage than one would have liked, but it's still good damage. We're going to get some Leech Seed, some Sand Chip, thanks to them. And they're all of a sudden in a not so amazing spot, right? Now, what I'm going to do here is I think I want to Pollen Puff the... I'm either going to Pollen Puff my bundle back to full, or I'm just going to go... I think I just Leech Seed the T-Tar on... I wonder if Pollen Puff kills it. I think we have to take that gamble. That Pollen Puff might be enough at neutral to pick up the T-Tar. And then we'll go into bundle. Because, like, I don't really want to be eating a Jet Punch and a Rock Slide. Obviously, we will, thanks to the fact that we have the Wo-Chien's ability here. We're going to Pollen Puff into T-Tar. It's going to be shy of the KO. But they're actually going to opt for Ice Punch. Now, I don't love Ice Punch on T-Tars there, but it is what it is. I'd go ahead and say we're in a pretty strong position here. I don't know what your last one is. I'm actually just going to keep Wo-Chien alive for a turn, and I'm just going to Icy Wind. It'll kill both. There's nothing too crazy to go on about here. If they try to make a maneuver out of this position, I'm not too concerned. Yeah, they're going to pivot into Garg, so maybe the Protect was a bit unlikely. Yeah, they just drop a Jet Punch as well, so really good play on their end to realize that Wo-Chien's probably going to Protect there, nothing too crazy. But I think we're okay. I honestly think we're pretty solid here, and... I think I just killed T-Tar and Leech Seed over here. Because T-Tar should be AV. Now, I'd like to simply go Freeze Dry, and I think I will. Yeah, I was going to try and call like a King Gambit switch in. But given the fact that King Gambit hasn't hit the field yet, leads me to believe that it's probably never going to hit the field. It's probably just has not been brought. It could very easily be Houndstone right here. And Houndstone is a little shaky because they have Sand up for 4 more turns. Yeah, actually, if they have Houndstone, this could actually get super rough. I'm gonna go Great Tusk. It is actually Houndstone. Okay, here we go. How do I want to play this? I think I'm gonna Leech Seed. Surely they want to kill Wo-Chien at some point, right? I'll attempt just trying to Headlong Rush the Garg. Actually, I don't need to kill Garg. I can kill... If I can kill Houndstone, it's better. So I Headlong Rush that slot. I probably lose Great Tusk to Last Respects. That is what it is. They are also Life Orb, and we're going to get the Leech Seed up. So, oh, it's Body Press. That is not good. That's GG. If it wasn't Body Press Garg and they don't have a way to kill me, I think we actually have an interesting endgame there. But really well played on their end to reset the sand, preserve the sand when they needed to. That's just honestly Houndstone kind of going off on us late game. That's really good. That's really well played. I'll tip my cap to that one, you know. Arguably could have made a few adjustments there. Like, I think I got too greedy, just kind of sitting there with Wo-Chien and just letting them rack up the damage into me and never really punishing, which I think is definitely a problem I find when I use like Wo-Chien and Ting Lu. I sit on the field and I just start eating damage, and then I'm like, I get to the end game, I'm like, oh, I have like 12 health left on everything. Everything's just dead, right? So that's something you definitely want to be avoiding, I think, when you use Wo-Chien and Ting Lu, because the damage mitigation is really, really nice. But I think it's about finding that sweet spot to mitigate the damage while still putting on enough pressure to you don't end up in a position that I was in last time, right? And once again, I'll accept sheets. I don't think they're going to accept them themselves because we're pretty low ladder right now. But okay, Fluttermane goes crazy here. I think if we go Terra Fairy on Fluttermane, it's actually a little bit stronger. However, Scarf Great Tusk makes this endgame, makes this a lot nicer because we can go Great Tusk Fluttermane and kind of just bully the mouse, right? Especially if they're not going to open the team sheets, we can game. Also, why do I still have Protect now? I'm sure y'all are yelling at me in the comments that I still have Protect on Choice Scarf Tusk. Rock Slide is definitely the play there. I love how I've just noticed now, 4 or 5 matches in, I don't know what we are, but Great Tusk Flutter still seems like the play. Late game bundle seems super strong here, and my biggest concern is simply probably Iron Hands. Wo-Chien doesn't seem bad. I think I'm actually going to go Arcanine though, because breaking a Moongus, looking back at things, is super rough. I don't want to go King Gambit either. Okay. Having Rock Slide would be goated right here. They don't know I'm Scarf though, so what I can actually do in theory, but that's not great. If I lock close combat, that's not solid. I could just click Earthquake and Terra Grass and just Moonblast. I just don't love that. Like, that just doesn't seem good, you know? I'll close combat just to kill you off, and I think I'll just lock Shadow Ball into Volcarona. Yeah, that's fine. They're gonna follow me. Down they go. We're gonna get decent damage off with the Shadow Ball into Volcarona here. There's also a chance we're just simply faster than it after a Quiver Dance, because you know that was their game plan, right? Just follow me, Quiver Dance. There's also a chance we're just simply faster with Great Tusk here, because of the fact that we're Choice Scarfed. Now what they're going to do is they're going to click Fake Out. I'm going to bring in Arcanine, and I'm just going to put pressure on with Shadow Ball. Now they could try to Quiver Dance again, but the most important thing right now is that they cannot kill my Fluttermane. So they can go Fake Out over there and get Giga Drain health back if they want, but they're going to opt to not do that. And Shadow Ball is going to come on out, is going to pick up Volcarona. So we take this. We're in a pretty solid spot. They haven't clicked Terra yet, which is a little concerning for me. So I think I'm actually super safe to Wisp the Iron Hands and probably just pivot into Bundle. I think we need Great Tusk more than we need Bundle in this endgame. So having Flutter Bundle endgame is... Sorry, having Flutter Great Tusk endgame is super nice. And we do see the Terra Fire on the Ape to eat the burn. We're all going to miss the Wisp, which is actually really annoying. However, the defense drops kind of make up for it in a way. So what we do is we simply double the hands, and we'll deal with Ape at the end, because Headlong Rush Terra Ground wins. So we simply double the hands right now, just to once again pin them in the end game, right? Because Ape is not winning this game by itself. Shadow Ball, Terra Ground, Headlong Rush kills, right? So they're going to correctly Drain Punch. That is a super fast Annihilate, might I add. And you're going to see a Wild Charge. That, I think, is a bit of a misplay. I think if they Drain Punch there, they have a chance of surviving some things. But this is Specs Moonblast. I don't care if you're AV, you're not living. And I'll Headlong Rush into the Ape. At this point, Great Tusk is winning us this game. We don't need anything else in this scenario, right? Like, we can lose Fluttermane and the game is still won in our favor. Even if they protect Ape, we somehow missed a KO. They're not going to do that though. Like, that's just a scenario I don't need to be concerned about, right? And I think we'll jump into one more. I want to keep this video about half an hour. So okay, we're gonna get Wo-Chien Torkoal, and I think this is okay. I'm gonna accept sheets once again. I don't expect them to get accepted back, but Scarf Great Tusk kind of goes crazy here. Now, how do I want to play this? I mean, yeah, no, Scarf Great Tusk goes crazy. The only thing I'm concerned about is speed boosting Roaring Moon. And even if that's the case, I can always switch into Wo-Chien. So I think I'm going to go with, like, the Fluttermane Great Tusk thing. Wo-Chien does not look amazing here, I'll be honest. Actually, what if I just went bundle? Yeah, no, bundle Great Tusk goes crazy. I don't know why I didn't see that sooner, but it's fine. I saw it in time. I still like late game Flutter, especially for the Wo-Chien. I might bench the Wo-Chien here. I think Arcanine probably cleans things up pretty nicely, especially by leading Great Tusk. If they want to go Glamora, what that forces them to do is almost forces them to Terra Grass, and an Arcanine can clean up with a Flare Blitz. So we'll opt for that. We'll see how this gets off. I think that we should be fine. Yeah, there's the Glamora Scizor lead. Gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting the Scizor, but it is Air Balloon Glamora. That is a new one, I'll be honest. Now, I can still Icy Wind and Headlong Rush if I wanted to. And I think I would rather do that because I don't really care about Glamora. So I don't really care about Scizor, so let's just kill Glamora off. I think that's pretty safe. They might consider themselves safe. Like, if they think they're safe here, I think we're chill. And we get them. It's really just a question of, do they feel safe or not with the Air Balloon? Because obviously, I can just do this, but they're just going to actually give me that. And they're going to let me take the Glamora, so we're only going to get one layer of spikes going up, which isn't amazing, but it's better than having 2 layers of spikes. So, I'm okay with this. We're going to get a Tailwind from the Scizor. Respect. I respect that. Is it Fluttermane coming in now? I would imagine it's Fluttermane coming in now. Okay. So, this is actually getting annoying, because I have to somehow stall out Tailwind. So what they're going to do here is they're probably Specs Fluttermane, and they're probably going to go Bullet Punch, Dazzling Gleam. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and buy myself turns by making this play. And then we'll see if that's enough. I need this to be enough turns, basically. If I can get to a spot where this is enough turns to get out of Tailwind, we're in a good spot. It's just a little shaky. They're actually going to Bullet Punch that, maybe trying to break a Sash. So they don't actually know that I was Sash. So I could have almost survived that with Bundle there, which is a little annoying that I protected. But it is what it is. I'm going to Icy Wind again, I think, if I get it off. I don't see too many reasons not to. And honestly, I think I want to just Flare Blitz Fluttermane. There's a chance Scizor tries to pivot off the field into something like a Torkoal. And getting a kill on Fluttermane is very, very nice here. They're going to opt for the Shadow Ball. Not going to kill my Arcanine. Citrus Berry is going to boost me up. Icy Wind is going to just chip. Break a Sash potentially. Could be Specs as well, which I wouldn't be surprised of. I don't think the crit mattered unless they had an insane amount of bulk. But more importantly, this is going to get us out of Tailwind. Because Wo-Chien doesn't scare me. I believe it's Fluttermane in the back. Okay, so what we need to do now is prioritize Scizor, which is a little bit more shaky. So I need to protect Bundle, and I'll try to just get a Flare Blitz off. And basically what I need to do is I need to have Scizor dead before my Fluttermane hits the field. Now, thankfully, in this scenario, I have the capability... I have the capability to bring in my Great Tusk first. I could also Terra Grass in worst case scenario positions. Right, but in a scenario like this, I wonder if it's just better because Scizor doesn't scare Great Tusk. So I think it's almost better to actually just kill Wo-Chien. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do that, and I'll deal with Scizor after. Because there's a chance Scizor realizes I have Fluttermane in the back. Yeah, and like I said, Scizor at -1 is not a threat to my Great Tusk. I don't know if I get this knockout, but I really should, yeah. So Wo-Chien's going to go down right there, and we absolutely love to see this. We're going to get a nice little Freeze Dry and a Headlong. Yeah, that's game. And they're going to forfeit. So, where do we go exactly? 5-1 right there? 4-1? Either way, it's pretty solid. Look back into the team builder. So, immediate things I see. I probably don't want Terra Grass here. I feel like maybe Annihilate and Mousehold are going to be common. And I'd love to be able to go something like Terra Fairy. I don't think being defensive on this team is amazing because I have the Wo-Chien, because I have the Intimidate. I don't think I need the Terra for defense, right? So I think I can actually get away with Terra Fairy. Maybe something like Power Gem here makes sense because we don't actually have the coverage. There's options here. Mystical Fire is also cool. There's some cool options here, right? I think that you can leave up in the air. Wo-Chien I think is solid. I think it's a good piece right now. Obviously, you can adapt to spread, nothing crazy. Iron Bundle. It's just going to be Iron Bundle here. I don't hate the concept of trying to click Encore with Bundle. I think it's a really good strategy, potentially. Especially in a format where, Wo-Chien is trying to, Leech Seed protect stall people. So if you can get them, protecting and then you can just Encore, you can infinitely sit in front of Wo-Chien sort of thing. As long as you're not Leech Seeded, which is something that's really, really cool. But on this team, I do really like the concept of Icy Wind plus, Scarf Tusk and Scarf Flutter. I think Specs Flutter, sorry. I just feel like it's a really nice concept. King Gambit, did we bring it once? I don't know if we brought it, but that just goes to show you how strong the rest of the court is, right? Arcanine it's just a nice little Intimidate, and it's permanent, which I think I still like having Intimidate plus Wo-Chien, especially because Fluttermane's defenses are pitiful, right? Like, I can actually have Arcanine on the field as an Intimidate and then pivot out the Arcanine into Wo-Chien, and it's like getting the Intimidate and then having the Wo-Chien on top of it really makes Fluttermane, especially with some nice bulk, really, really bulky, right? And I think it's a really cool concept here. Maybe Arcanine's not the piece, but I didn't have any complaints having Arcanine here in these last few games. And then Great Tusk was cool. I don't hate the Scarf Tusk. Like, I did miss Sash a little bit, and I think I'll go back to Sash if we switch out King Gambit. Like, if we switch out King Gambit for a different piece, something that maybe has a little bit more speed control or just more speed in general, I could definitely see us swapping Sash back onto the Tusk. But for right now, with the variant the way the team is, it's like, honestly, Scarf Tusk actually kind of works. Like, it puts on a lot of pressure. We didn't see too many threats into it, but the fact that in that one game versus the Mousehold Volcarona, we were able to just close combat the mice before they were able to do anything, and then the Shadow Ball went into Volcarona without the friend guard up, it was really, really solid, right? Obviously puts on a little bit more reads in that game if they're like Terra Ghost mice, but it is what it is. But that's going to be it here, guys, and the whole concept of this was to basically showcase how you can take a pre-existing team and work around it to build for Regulation C, because I know a lot of people are struggling, myself included. I was struggling for the longest time with Regulation C team building, and I still don't think I'm like the best Regulation C team builder. But there's something to be said about going back and looking at popular cores, or cores you're very familiar with and you're comfortable with. In this case, this was my Vancouver team, right? And I was like, okay, this is what worked about the team. This is kind of what I want to keep about the team. And we're in this scenario now, right? And I think it was a really solid concept. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and if you do enjoy the content, please feel free to that was not English. If you did enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe so you don't miss out on more. Would really appreciate it. And of course, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in a future video.